today's video, I'm going to talk through what to expect at a late night riding event at the Pleasure Beach, while sharing my tips about how to make the most of these days. Just a little disclaimer before we start. Not all footage in this video has been shot during late night riding events and is park footage from any time in the 2021 season at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. So let's start by having a quick look over the late night riding dates. At the time of upload, the remaining dates in 2021 are as follows: the 7th of August, the 14th of August, the 21st of August, the 28th of August, the 25th of September, the 23rd of October, and finally 30th of October. Now that we've covered the dates for the late night riding, let's talk about the scheduled opening times. Every late night riding event is marked as 10 AM opening and 10 PM close, so that's 12 hours at the park. But which rides open from 10 AM, and is it worth arriving for opening time? Well, it is entirely dependent on what you're looking to get out of the day when considering how early to arrive. If you want a full day of riding the rides with the occasional break in between, then arriving for opening time is for you. We say this because the rides do tend to be quieter in the morning compared to how they are in the afternoon. It is worth knowing that you can leave the park and re-enter too. So if you turn up for opening, have a solid few hours of doing the rides and then fancy a walk on the seafront for a while, this is something that can be done because re-entry to the park is allowed as long as you keep your e-ticket handy on your phone or printed out. It has not been uncommon for us to pop out of the park in the past, whether it's going to the car, getting some footage from outside of the park, or doing something else quickly between doing the rides. So just to clarify, leaving the park and re-entering the park is possible to do. Back to the point of when to arrive. If you're not fancying a full day of riding the rides, but quite fancy soaking up the classic amusement park atmosphere of Blackpool Pleasure Beach, you may consider arriving sometime after 12 PM, which is fine. To be honest, arriving any time from 10 AM right up to around 9 PM is fine as far as I'm aware. I think last entry to the park is always an hour before park close, regardless of the closing time. I often see the following question asked: does my ticket cover all of late night riding? So there's 3 types of ticket you can book for late night riding at the Pleasure Beach. There's the adult e-ticket, which is £40 for the whole day. There's the junior e-ticket, which is for 11-year-olds or younger, priced at £35 for the full day. And then there's the evening ticket, which is valid only from 6 PM at £34. The all-day adult and junior e-tickets cover the whole day. The evening ticket is only valid from 6 PM. Please note those prices may be subject to change. Booking in advance is recommended. This next point is more opinion than anything else. Blackpool Pleasure Beach on a late night riding event represents excellent value for money. In comparison, you could go to another UK theme park, which I won't name, for only £1 cheaper, but have 3 hours less on the same dates. So do the rides close at 10 PM? Or is it the ride queues that close at 10 PM? Usually, it is the ride queues that close at 10 PM, and not the ride itself. The ride queues may close at 10 PM, but the staff will continue to operate the ride until the whole queue line is cleared. So this may mean you could get your last ride of the day after 10 PM. I would never recommend trying to join a queue at 1 minute to 10 though. If you want to do something as your last ride of the day, join the queue at around 9:45 PM, just to make sure you're in the queue before the queue is closed. If the weather conditions are grim, and the big one is at reduced capacity due to high winds, its queue line may close before 10 PM. It is always best to check the ride opening and closing signage at the entrance of every ride to see what the scheduled opening and closing times are. The rides in Nickelodeon Land close at 9 PM on these late night riding events. So how busy are the late night riding events, and will you need Speedy Pass? Late night riding at Blackpool Pleasure Beach is always very popular, so it will always be sensible to expect queue times at the park, but this is to be expected at any amusement park in the world during peak periods. Speedy Pass is entirely dependent on you as the guest. If you are happy to queue and wait it out, then you may not see the benefit of buying Speedy Pass. However, if you're going to put off doing rides because of how long a queue looks, then I'd probably recommend Speedy Pass. So here's a little tip of mine. If you're not going to use Speedy Pass, then I do recommend just joining the queues, because sometimes you can spend as much time walking around the park looking at all the queues to find the shortest queue than you'd actually spend queuing for one of the rides with a big queue. Sometimes the ride queues look longer than they actually are, especially during this time of COVID while there's extra fencing and things like that around the ride areas. Speedy Pass is currently unavailable to book in advance for season pass holders. However, if you are booking it alongside your e-ticket for the day and you're not a season pass holder, it is possible to do it in advance. If you are a season pass holder and want to get Speedy Pass, or want to decide on the day if you'll need Speedy Pass, you will need to be at the park early, as 99% of the time it sells out before 11 AM on a late night riding day. To be honest, it's the same on most busy days with Speedy Pass. On the day, Speedy Pass can be purchased at Guest Services inside the park. Guest Services is located near to the entrance of the Grand National and opposite the Kentucky Derby game stall. Speedy Pass has two tiers, Standard at £25 or VIP at £50. Standard does not cut down the waiting time, but allows you to virtually queue. So you would book the ride of choice and then wait for the clock to count down the length of time you'd have to stand in the queue for. Once finished, it will generate a QR code for you to use when entering the selected ride via its Speedy Pass entrance. Speedy Pass VIP cuts the queue time by 90%, which means the virtual queuing time will always be a short wait. Once the countdown on that wait is complete, it will also generate a QR code for you to use. We have recently filmed a full vlog about the benefits of Speedy Pass VIP. It is linked in the top of the screen. Blackpool Pleasure Beach has a variety of catering options around the park, but it is worth knowing there's not usually many places to grab hot food from before 12 noon at the park. This is not to say there's no food available before 12, because that would be wrong to say, but places like the Big Pizza Kitchen and Coaster's Restaurant start serving sit-down meals from 12 onwards. From experience, these places are usually quietish when they first open, but do get very busy at times of the day. Sometimes one of the quickest places to grab food from is up near Infusion, where there's a variety of food stalls, including curly fries. We will link to Blackpool Pleasure Beach's catering webpage in the video description. During late night riding events, from 4 PM, the Pleasure Beach have a live DJ located nearby to the fountains and Grand National. Team Nick will also have their usual entertainment offerings on in and around Nickelodeon Land at selected times of the day. So what's so special about a late night riding event at Blackpool Pleasure Beach? In short, for many fans of the Pleasure Beach, it's like taking a step back into our childhoods. It's not just about the memories though. There's simply nothing like Blackpool Pleasure Beach in the dark. It has a unique atmosphere about it, which seems to create an infectious buzz of excitement through the whole park. The rides are nicely warmed up and seem to run so much better in the dark too. And it's just nice to be able to enjoy a UK park after 7 PM. Putting into words how great Blackpool Pleasure Beach is after dark is pretty much impossible. So that brings me to the end of this late night riding at Blackpool Pleasure Beach guide. I hope I've covered all the important stuff here, but if I have missed anything, or you'd simply like some additional information, please post your questions in the comments below and I will reply to you. Also, if you have any feedback about this video, I'd love to see it in the comments section below. Many thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next Pleasure Beach Experience video.